It's good to know.
Let's go over to Kenya, where today President Uhuru Kenyatta boycotted a crisis meeting called by the chairman of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The IEBC set the meeting for 11:30 a.m. in Nairobi, but then said it had been postponed to an unspecified date and time. Yesterday, the Election Commission Chairman, Wafulu Chebukati, said it was hard to guarantee a credible vote on the rerun date slated for October the 26th. He demanded that the political leaders meet for talks. Last week, opposition leader Raila Odinga pulled out of the vote, calling for electoral reforms. In the meantime, Raila Odinga has held consultations with the chairman of the Electoral Commission. The head of IEBC confirmed this in a tweet, saying that they had discussions on electoral matters. He added that he looks forward to meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta. The opposition leader called for mass protests on the day of the polls. Leaders from 12 African nations are due to meet in the Congolese capital, Brazzaville, for a two-day summit to address some of the continent's most intractable problems. The International Conference on the Great Lakes region will discuss a diverse range of violent conflicts, including those in the Central African Republic, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Sudan. Large amounts of money, resources and expertise have been spent without success attempting to resolve these crises in the past. The political leaders represent Angola, Burundi, Central African Republic, Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda and Zambia. They have not met at summit level since June 2016. And some British banking groups are likely to be investigated over new claims that they may have been used to launder money stolen from South Africa. Anti-apartheid activist Lord Hayne, who raised the issue, says whistleblowers had told him that hundreds of millions of dollars was taken out of the country legally via Hong Kong and Dubai. The British Finance Ministry say they have referred the allegations to the Serious Fraud Office, SFO. The money is said to have been allegedly stolen by South Africa's President Jacob Zuma and wealthy business family, the Guptas, an allegation they've both denied. In the meantime, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, have begun a probe on the Guptas, their business transactions and cash flows by its allies and companies between South Africa, Dubai and the US. It is understood that the movement of funds being investigated by the FBI relates to multi-million rand contracts the Guptas allegedly secure for Transnet suppliers. The leaks expose the controversial family as acting as brokers to facilitate contracts for key state-owned entities. According to reports, the FBI will focus on Ashish and Amol Gupta, who are U.S. citizens and nephews of Atu and Ajay Gupta. Records show that the pair are directors of a Texas-based company called Brooksfield Consultants. The Gupta leaks revealed how in 2014 a Transnet crane supplier paid nearly 30 million rands into a Gupta company based in Dubai to secure a contract. Staying in South Africa, the mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba, says he is ready to enforce the deportation of undocumented foreigners in the city. He intends to implement this by going through the legal process, as his lawyers will be launching a High Court application against Home Affairs Minister Ayanda Dlodlo next week. This comes after Mr. Mashaba's criticism of South Africa's Home Affairs Ministry. He said he is worried about the influx of foreigners in the country with no documentation to show, promising to bring back the rule of law. And a new installment of Nelson Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, has been released in Johannesburg. The title of the book is taken from the final sentence of Mr. Mandela's celebrated book, in which he wrote, quote, "With freedom comes responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my walk is not ended," end of quote. Dare Not Linger tackles his 5 years as South Africa's president after the collapse of apartheid and gives his view of the country's first multiracial elections in 1994. Mr. Mandela's unfinished and written draft of the book was completed by a successful South African novelist. And the Ugandan Ministry of Health has confirmed that a 50-year-old woman has died from the hemorrhagic fever known as Marburg. It is so far the only confirmed case, as there are no others on their investigation at the moment, although the disease is said to have nursed a brother who presented similar symptoms and died. The viral disease presents with Ebola-like symptoms, including pain in the joints, fever and bleeding. The disease is said to have been developed by the Soviet Union used as a biological weapon. Uganda has had several outbreaks of Marburg and Ebola in the past and has quite a good reputation for handling the outbreaks. Well, still to come on the program, Agriculture for African Youth receiving increased attention. Do join us again.